because I have another report which I'll be sharing with members in the next coming 1 or 2 weeks. Do you know, members, that all our 47 county governments are in violation of Schedule 25 of our regulations on expenditure in our county governments? There is not a single county that is spending more than 20% on development spend. All of them 15%, 16%, and we're just seated here as Senate. We must demand when control of budget comes here, because I have invited her and I've told her that you must appear before a committee of the whole for the entire Senate, because senators want to know, why are you allowing counties to spend over and above what is it called, legislative determinations that have already been made? The 70-30 principle. That principle was put there to ensure. We know very well that the easiest way with which you can pilfer resources is through recurrent expenditure. Because it's small things like fuel, I don't know, printing, paying so and so, and all these funny programs that county governors are running. You find a governor running, I don't know, with mattresses and whatnot, chicken, the way Senator Karunga was talking about, under recurrent vote, saying, I have brought this donation. That's why very few of them, actually, that's why none of them is at 35%. Very few are above 25%. Most of them, for your information, sadly, senators, are below 20%. And this is a worrying trend which we must begin to question as Senate. We must demand from control of budget and ask, what is it that my county, Kericho, your county, Senator Osotsi, and the rest, Senator Betty, determine, and let your governor appear before us and file a recovery plan. Because I believe the reason why, for example, the national government is in the financial and debt distress that we find ourselves in as a country is because of managing our resources the way counties are beginning to operate. Where you imagine that so long as this is government, somehow money will always be found. You don't want to run it prudently, knowing that resources are finite, that somehow they must have an end. Senator Karungo Thango have just spoken about how many of our counties continuously inflate their own source revenue with the simple motivation of growing their development budget, so that at the end of it they can procure, take the 10% and never pay those contractors. There is absolutely nobody in their right mind right now, Mr. Speaker, in this country who can seek to be a county contractor unless the governor is your father, your mother, your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Otherwise, any ordinary contractor knows the minute you conclude that job, you begin an even more difficult job of trying to get paid. Yes. And many of the times they'll never be paid. Sure. People have been auctioned. Sure. As a Senate, Mr. Speaker, these are the things that we need to interact with and rise above. I believe our job is not just legislating and passing laws and passing such beautiful pieces of legislation, Mr. Speaker. We must follow like a good CEO. And I said another time, Mr. Speaker, that a senator is like the chairman of a board and the governor is a CEO. Oversight responsibility is on us to ensure that your governor present the financial report of how the company, otherwise known as a county government, performed in that particular financial year. How did they use the resources that were sent to them? How much did they ensure that they brought services proximate to the people, Mr. Speaker? Many other times, if you take time to read through, take time and understand, what is your governor doing? Where are these resources disappearing to? Why is it that when you move around your county, despondency levels are on an all-time high? People still speaking about lack of basic amenities, no drugs in our facilities. All the roads that were built between 2013 and now, none is being maintained, Mr. Speaker. And we will soon get to a point where our people will give up and say, we thought this was coming to save us. It is even worse than when things were centralized at the national government, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I hope at that session, when we interact with the control of budget, and we will send a notice, Mr. Speaker, so that all the senators can appear during that particular meeting. In fact, my proposal, Mr. Speaker, is that let it be a committee of the whole, so that we share our frustration and our disappointment with that particular office, including, Mr. Speaker, the difficulties why also many counties are not able to access their resources sometimes sent to them. Because I've listened to governors also sometimes who say,